The woke on woke crime just keeps getting better for the Eternals. We will call this monumental event the Normies versus Disney Incorporated. The greasy, purple-haired Twitter edition. The civil war we deserved and somewhat wanted. This is what social justice implosion looks like. And what's up with Rotten Tomatoes? Did the House of Mouse forget to pay you? Actually, I know exactly what happened. Some intern at Disney or Marvel forgot to bribe the shill critics. Because we all know, don't we, that these critics only approve of films that enrich their pockets? That's why you listen to people like me, because I don't give a about no pecking order. It's pretty obvious if you've been watching me for more than a week. I don't care about joining some elitist group of morons who sit in a room and cut their own farts all day. Hit the like button and subscribe, baby. Now it looks like the Eternals has pissed off, well, everyone. Imagine Disney being so rotten that even the Taliban themselves won't watch the movie. Because it looks like the Eternals is being banned in select countries. Wow, you lucky Can we get this movie banned in the UK as well? Because that would be great. It would save so many people's wallets and themselves from disappointment. So when I first read this story, I was like, wow, these countries have more sense than us over here. And then I realized, oh, they're not banning it for being a bad movie. They are banning it for, well, let's get into it. Middle Eastern countries reportedly ban Marvel's Eternals film over a man-on-man kiss scene. Hollywood Reporter claims the film has been banned in Saudi Arabia, Qatar and Kuwait. You know, it's almost like while people are bitching about how oppressive the United States is, they blatantly ignore the rest of the world where it clearly very truly is oppressive. It's funny, isn't it, how stories like this get completely buried in the news cycle. The alphabet self-indulgence people have zero issue with this. Qatar and Saudi Arabia are like, sure, we'll show the movie. But it'll be a rooftop showing today, baby. Ha! Now that's some dark humor for ya. Anyway, look, I have a friend who works in a cinema here in London, UK. And she told me that on the Friday night showings for Marvel The Eternals at the IMAX and the standard screens in the theater never even got a quarter full. Pardon the voice crack, but that's also in a major city, so for opening night, that is terrible. She also told me that Dune, a movie that came out 3 weeks ago, has half as many seats available. Ticket sales are absolutely abysmal for the Eternals, so when you hear terms like, oh, it's soaring to 69.5 million and seeing possible 70 million opening makes it sound way more positive than it actually is. It's barely reaching that amount, and it actually made less than that so far, but I'm convinced that Disney allocates part of their marketing budget into purchasing seats on opening weekend. So trust all these figures at your own peril. Now, one thing to remember is that the Eternals production budget is $200 million. And the old filmmaking rule of thumb is that a movie should make at least 3 times its production budget to be considered a success or profitable. That means the Eternals will need to have a box office in excess of $600 million. Is it impossible? Not exactly, but is it improbable? Yes. They took a property with characters that nobody knows or cares about and changed it to include diversity and expected it to succeed. Oh well, did it fall on its face? Shocking, I tell ya. The movie was so bad that I would sooner watch Hannah Gadsby on loop. What's funny is that controversial movies are often profitable. So this could be a marketing strategy. So instead of shilling for Disney, the reviewers could be trying to create controversy to drive curiosity in an otherwise dull movie. And by the way, this whole people hate the movie because it has gay characters is bullshit. right? Because when you see critically acclaimed films like Brokeback Mountain, Moonlight, and Boys Don't Cry get rave reviews from critics and audiences and even win awards, so that kind of blows their whole, well, you're just phobes out of the window. Anyway, the only thing keeping Disney alive was Marvel. But now everyone lost interest after the Avengers. They had an explosive start. The first Iron Man, the first Captain America, and the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie was near perfection, in my opinion. And after Endgame, they should have stopped it right there, because it feels like they are using the same formula every time and they're clearly running out of ideas. Like I said, the MCU should have concluded with Endgame. It was a perfect conclusion. Aside from a couple of cringy scenes, Marvel should have gone out on a high. Now that I think about it, the MCU should go back to making B movies like Sharknado, because at least that way people can watch and laugh. Yes, it's come down to that. Anyway, let's get to the main event. Saying Rotten Tomatoes is a good reference for a must-see movie is like saying Joe Biden is the most popular president ever. You know, Joe Biden and the Marvel Eternals actors have a lot in common, actually. Both need warm milk and a nappy change. The Rotten Tomatoes critic score is so bad, and the only thing shocking is that the woke critics are pointing it out. Those morons showing distaste for woke Eternals definitely puts a smile on my face. And to be perfectly honest, I'm absolutely floored that this many critics were willing to put their SJW agenda aside and actually critically review a film. Remember, this website is brought to you by the same guys who think the Joker is a bad movie. Usually, when a critic dislikes a movie, it means two things nowadays. Number one, their checks from Disney didn't clear. Number two, the movie had the wrong politics. And there is no option three. It's either one or two or even both. But the score for Marvel Eternals flip-flops between rotten and not rotten like Dr. Fauci. The audience score as of me making this is 81%. I'm starting to wonder if Disney noticed that the audience score has a better reputation and decided to start fortifying and inserting good reviews on that side instead. Mickey Mouse is like, oh, let's use reverse psychology. Certainly if the critics don't like it, then the people will like it. Oh, we should spend our money artificially boosting that score instead. And here's an update. The people said, yeah, the movie's still shit. You can't even leave a negative review on Rotten Tomatoes for the Eternals. Try it. Every time you try, you'll get the oops error message. I'm not even kidding. An interesting note is that if you look at the profiles of audience scores, I found it interesting that how many of these accounts have literally only just been created so they could rate the Eternals movie 5 stars. That's mildly suspicious, isn't it? Anyway, save your money for the real Ghostbusters that's coming out. And on that bombshell, Manic's out.